From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Tuesday, April 29th, 2025.
This is Todd Spangler, Washington correspondent for the Detroit Free Press. President Trump today is making his first trip back to Michigan after winning the state for a second time last year. At 6 p.m., he's scheduled to speak at a rally at Macomb Community College in Warren. Trump is holding the rally to commemorate a milestone. This week, he crosses the symbolic mark of serving 100 days of his second presidential term. By any measure, Trump's first 100 days has been remarkable. He has set about slashing government, trying to get rid of programs and agencies, and largely shut down immigration along the southern border. Then there are import tariffs. He has enacted or threatened to impose a broad scheme of tariffs on imported cars, parts, aluminum, and much more. He says it will help create jobs and revenue, but critics, like the car companies, say it could hurt them badly. Economists say it could cause a recession. Also, don't be surprised today if Trump has an announcement on Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Macomb County, given that he suggested he might have one soon. It's an opportune time to make one with Trump visiting the county.
I'm Dave Boucher with the Detroit Free Press. Federal prosecutors are trying to sell everything from a wicker Gucci hat to designer white socks to help a Detroit nonprofit recoup more than $43 million stolen by their ex-CFO. But if history is any indicator, it's unlikely the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy recovers anything more than a fraction of the money taken by William Smith. The Conservancy is the latest in a long line of prominent Metro Detroit entities to lose out on fraud. A Free Press investigation found about 24 people in the city and region convicted in high-profile public corruption cases still owe more than $20 million combined in restitution. Some well-known locals refuse to pay what they owe. Others do make their payments, sometimes more than required, while sacrificing pensions or properties in order to make amends. And, in some cases, prosecutors took cash, property, or other assets around the time of conviction to offset initial restitution amounts. A City of Detroit spokesman says ex-mayor Kwame Kilpatrick still owes more than $868,000, years after his scandals garnered national attention. Christine Beatty, his former chief of staff, owes about $78,000 and hasn't paid a dime in a decade, despite holding down a gig that pays more than $100,000 a year in total compensation. Prosecutor Kim Worthy essentially passed the buck, saying it's on the city to force them to pay up, but the city pushed back, saying they're burdening the victims in this case. Kilpatrick and Beatty owe far less than others, though. One man owes nearly $4 million to the Detroit Public Library, and he told us he's not giving them a dime. In general, prosecutors push people to pay what they owe, said Barb McQuaid, a former U.S. attorney who oversaw the federal Kilpatrick case and others on the list. Although she didn't talk to us about any specific defendants, she said there are times where people simply spent the money they stole and can't pay it back. But if prosecutors find out years later, even after a bankruptcy filing, that someone has money, she said in her experience, the government pursues payment. She told me, quote, "We'll be here when you get back on your feet. We're getting what we're due." For a complete breakdown of who owes, who's paying, who's not, and why it matters, check out our full story at freep.com.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thank you for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.